Welcome to Day 10 on our journey to the road to the NBA trade deadline, a video series where for the 2 weeks leading up to the NBA trade deadline, I make a video every single day. The first week was talking about trades I was proposing, but the second week is me sitting in the armchair, kind of being the armchair GM of a franchise. I've talked about the Rockets and I've talked about the Magic, and today we're talking about the Thunder, one of my favorite teams. Now, this is how this is going to work. I'm going to propose or pull a couple of trades from Fanspo, talk about my perspective on them, but I want you guys in the comments to vote. Which trade is best and which would you go for? Would you go for none of them? Do some of them seem a little crazier? I did try to give a good variety of picks here, but let me know in the comments down below because I think this is a really fun exercise. So starting off probably with the most complex of these trades, it's a three-teamer proposed by whoever this is. Shout out to that guy, or lady, depending on. The Bucks, the Thunder, and the Bulls. So the Bucks are getting Alex Caruso, Andre Drummond, and Torrey Craig. This actually works out pretty well for the Bucks, I think. The Thunder are getting Bobby Portis Jr., AJ Green, and Andre Jackson Jr. These two are largely salary filler, I believe, because I'm not super familiar with them. But Bobby Portis Jr. would be kind of a secondary big, if not a starting big for the Thunder, depending on. And the Bulls are getting off quite a bit of money. You get Alexei Pokusevski, who you're probably not going to play. You do get Trey Mann, who you might keep around. Marjon Beauchamp, who you're probably keeping around, especially with that contract. Jalen Williams, who I'm not really sure gets any more minutes with the Bulls than he does with OKC. A first rounder via the Clippers. A first rounder via the Thunder in 25. A second rounder via Portland in 24. And a second rounder via Milwaukee in 27. Now, from kind of working backwards here, the Bulls, I think this is actually a reasonable thing. Like, you are losing quite a bit, but this is kind of assuming the Bulls have given up. I don't know that they hit that point before the trade deadline happens, but that is something that signals that. Because you're really getting two-ish, maybe three players you're going to keep. One's expiring. One's going to be extension eligible, so that's a conversation they may end up not having. But these two guys are on longer contracts. I do think Trey Mann kind of works with the Bulls for some reason. But then you get a bunch of picks. 2 first rounders that are probably going to be really late unless OKC blows up for some reason. And 2 second rounders. One of them being probably relatively good because, well, Portland's not very good this year. As the Thunder, you get Bobby Portis Jr., and that's really your most thing, right? You're either playing him alongside Chet in the starting lineup, or he's your backup big coming off the bench. And yeah, he's your secondary Chet, basically. He's a little bit more physical than Chet is from a defensive standpoint. But yeah, I mean, he just provides that extra. He does score, obviously, but he's not Chet, right? He's not all over the floor. He's a more traditional kind of big center guy, even though he's listed as a power forward. So he's going to be your guy that sits in the post and scores, but is also kind of your pseudo rim protector. These two guys are probably guys that are going to replace Poku and Trey Mann in terms of minutes, or maybe Jalen Williams and Trey Mann. And then the Bucks are getting good point of attack defense there to kind of help insulate Dame a little. A backup big, which is kind of what you're switching out Bobby Portis for. Older, probably not playing as many minutes, expiring, but is also a big bruiser kind of guy. And Torrey Craig, who is another one that less salary filler, I think, than these two guys, but not a guy you're probably playing regularly. This is interesting. I don't know if you're the Thunder, you even consider this, but realistically, if all you're giving up is Jalen Williams, and believe me, that's a big, ask. I would switch this out for somebody else, to be 100% honest with you. But this is really the only asset you're realistically giving up that matters, right? Clippers pick, who cares? You have 3 picks this year anyway, and it's not going to be very good. Your first rounder in 25 is also probably not going to be very good either, and once again, you have more picks for that year. So, yeah, this kind of solves a problem the Thunder have currently. solves a big problem the Bucks have currently, and the Bulls have kind of admitted defeat. Now going on to a kind of more standard trade, I suppose, mostly because I want to talk about one guy in this. But this is Bowling Owl proposing a Bruce Brown trade for Davis Bertans, Vasilije Micic, and a first-rounder via Utah, which might actually be a decent pick. Utah's been kind of on a heater lately, though, so we don't really know. So yeah, Bruce Brown. This I don't like. This gives Shai help for when he's not on the floor. The problem is you kind of already have that. You typically, your secondary units are run either by Vasilije Micic or kind of a pair of Vasilije Micic and JDub. So you do bring a guy with experience and talent in, but he's also a 6'4" guard, which is something the Thunder have in excess at the moment. But if you're the Thunder, you're getting off the Davis Bertans contract, which is a contract you've had effectively for trade, and Vasilije Micic, who's new to the league. He's got a lot of accolades. He's a, I think, 2-time EuroLeague MVP, or 1-time EuroLeague MVP and 2-time winner of the EuroLeague Cup or whatever it's called. And he's been like getting better progressively throughout the year. And you give up a first rounder. Once again, you have 2 other first rounders this year, but this might be the best of them. 2 or yeah, I think it's just 2 other ones. So I don't hate this necessarily. I do think giving up on Vasilije Micic at this point, like even though Bruce Brown's kind of taking that role anyway, might be a bit of a short-sighted gamble, but Bruce Brown's good. He's got playoff experience, and he could actually help the Thunder. Now, whether or not he's going to be your secondary unit leader, or if he pops into the starting lineup over Giddey is hard to say, but kind of looking at how this trade's constructed, he's probably taking the Micic minutes. He's coming off the bench. He is your secondary guy. And yeah, I mean, he's pretty competent, so that's something that could help in the playoffs. And much like the Magic video yesterday, I'm doing 3 because no one can stop me. And we've got George Verdino 5 proposing this trade between the Pelicans and the Thunder. Unless the Pelicans in like the next week, just for whatever reason, decide to blow it up, I doubt this happens. But you're trading Davis Bertans, a contract you pretty much got from the Mavericks to trade. You're giving up a first rounder in 24 via the Clippers, a second rounder via Philadelphia in 25, a second rounder in 26, and a second rounder via Golden State in 26. To get Herb Jones and Cody Zeller. So you get a backup big. Okay, I'll take that. And you get Herb Jones, who might be in your starting lineup. In worst case, he's probably like your 6th or 7th man, right? Now, the reason I say the Pelicans don't do this, unless something bad happens, is all you're really getting back is picks, right? Bertans' contract is not a player option, not a team option, so you're not really getting any, like, he's going to be on your books. So if you do this, you get him to trade again. And then you're getting picks, right? To be fair, you're not even really getting good picks, right? Like, this Clippers pick's probably going to be the end of the first round. Philadelphia is probably still going to be good next year. Golden State might. This will be, I think, the last year of Steph Curry's current contract, so they may be good. And then you're getting OKC's 26. So, yeah, none of these picks are really going to be really high-end ones. But they don't have any list of protections, which is interesting. But yeah, Herb Jones, good. Like, he would legitimately help the Thunder. Cody Zeller, as a backup big, would allow you to play bigger if you needed to, which I think has been part of the Thunder's problem. But at the same time, Cody Zeller is better than Olivier Sarr, but we have big men, right? We have other backup bigs we could have been using this entire time, and we haven't. So I think the way the Thunder play currently with their kind of small ball secondary lineup is very intentional. And while it would be nice to have that flexibility and he's expiring and cheap, I don't think this happens. Even if you have him, I don't think he gets minutes. Herb Jones is obviously the best player out of this trade. But I don't think the Pelicans are in a spot where they are trading out Herb Jones for this. It's just, it doesn't help them by any means. They're in a good spot in the playoff contention race, so this doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. But if OKC's already pick rich anyway, and they get Herb Jones out of it, that's a pretty good deal. Like, Herb Jones is a pretty good player, so I would take this, but I just don't think it's realistic. But let me know, which one of these 3 trades do you like? Do you want the Thunder to pick up Herb Jones, the Thunder to pick up Bruce Brown but lose Vasilije Micic and that first-round Utah pick this year, or the Thunder to pick up Bobby Portis Jr. but lose Poku, Trey Mann, Jalen Williams, the Clippers first-rounder this year, and their first-rounder in 2025. Let me know in the comments down below. I really look forward to seeing what you guys have to say. And, well, I'll see you tomorrow.